We didn't know my alien friend's massive multistellar fortune was tied directly to a royal marital custody clause until the executor of the estate read the final will, and his towering, 7-foot-tall warrior widow instantly leveled her plasma rifle directly at my throat. That was the exact hook the universe used to turn a heartbreaking funeral into a lethal fight for my life and a multi-billion credit empire. I'm Leo. I'm a human freighter pilot who spent the last 10 years running dangerous cargo lanes through the Orion Nebula. To the Valari, a proud, hyper-advanced race of predatory reptilian elites, humans are nothing but cheap, disposable labor. Primitives who live in the grease and dust. But my co-pilot, Jax, was different. He was a Valari noble who ran away from his highborn family to live a life of freedom in the stars. We bled together, starved together, and became closer than brothers. But 3 days ago, a localized engine explosion took his life. The entire Valari sector went into a state of mourning, but their sadness was entirely transactional. Alien logic relies completely on cold math, spreadsheets, and political status. The moment Jax's heart stopped, his imperial family, who hadn't spoken to him in a decade, showed up at the high-security orbital bank to claim his massive inheritance. They brought an army of corporate lawyers and elite royal guards clad in shimmering kinetic armor. Sitting in the front row was Jax's estranged widow, Lady Vonya. She was a majestic, 8-foot-tall monolith of cold authority, her sharp mandibles clicking in anticipation of inheriting his wealth. To her, I was just a squishy human pest who was about to be kicked out into the vacuum of space. The Grand Executor, a towering bureaucratic beast, stepped up to the obsidian podium. His internal quantum computers were running the numbers, preparing to transfer the credits to the family. His mechanical translator droned out a wet, heavy, metallic rasp. The lineage has ceased, the machine automated. The financial assets must revert to the primary bloodline. Your logic centers must dictate immediate submission. Human, step away from the vault. But nobody ever bothered to read the final paragraph of a dying human's brother-in-arms. The executor opened the final encrypted holopad left by Jax. Suddenly, the dead alien's voice echoed through the massive chamber, bypassing all corporate security blocks. To my family who abandoned me, you get nothing, Jax's voice boomed. I leave my entire fortune, my star core crystals, my fleets, and the absolute legal trust of my widow's estate to the only sentient being who ever protected my back. I leave it all to the human, Leo. All caps for emphasis can't describe the absolute, paralyzing fury that choked that grand chamber right then. The wet clicking of the alien elites stopped completely. Vonya didn't just flinch, she tore her plasma sidearm from her silk robes and jammed the smoking barrel right beneath my chin. The red laser sights of 60 royal guards instantly dotted my chest like a target board. According to Valari law, by inheriting her trust, I legally became her master and the sole controller of her entire house. To an elite warrior race, being owned by a primitive human mouth was a fate worse than death. The primitive has hijacked the bloodline, Vonya roared, her iridescent silver scales flaring a hot, defensive crimson. Liquidate him now. Delete his genetic code. I stood there, my hands visibly shaking in my worn leather jacket, facing a literal firing squad. Alien logic says that when the odds are 6-1, a lower species will slide into the mud, drop to their knees, and beg for mercy. They run entirely on numbers and survival probability. But nobody ever explained human spite to a Valari court. I didn't drop to my knees. I didn't beg for my life. Instead, I reached into my pocket, pulled out the remote master key to Jax's entire automated starfleet, and took one heavy step forward, pressing my neck harder against her gun barrel. If you pull that trigger, I whispered, my voice cracked like dry leather but completely steady, the master key deletes the entire banking network. Your house falls, your credits burn, and I take half this sector down with me. Fire whenever you're ready, princess. The Chancellor froze. The guards lowered their weapons by a fraction of an inch, the equations in their high-tech helmets completely broken. They expected to execute a clumsy mechanic. Instead, they realized this squishy human didn't give a damn about their firing squad. He was ready to burn the galaxy to hold his ground. Vanya looked into my eyes, seeing the raw, reckless human determination that her cold spreadsheets could never calculate. Slowly, her mandibles stopped trembling. She realized her imperial math had failed her. She slowly, profoundly lowered her weapon, bowing her massive head in an ancient, reluctant gesture of submission. The galaxy thinks we're fragile because our bones snap under pressure and we bleed when we're cut. They look at our soft skin and assume we run on the same cold calculations that they do. But they forget that our chaotic nature, our stubborn refusal to back down even when completely outgunned, is exactly what makes us so damn dangerous. Because when a human inherits a legacy, he doesn't just take the money. He inherits the fight. So, next time you think about cheating a cornered human out of what belongs to him, don't wait for the math to save you. Just run.